I'm thinking
This is one thing. I mean, one person's down that you all the I want to be a whole all the power in the world. And then there's the versatility with the mayor and all of
stated every time we get together for the citizens being involved, we're certainly thankful for taking the time to participate in the government of your city. At this time, I'd like to ask Alderman Johnson if she would give us an indication.
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we come tonight with thanksgiving in our hearts, just telling you thank you for all the many blessings that you bestowed upon us, Lord. Lord, as we go through this meeting, we ask that you just help us to make sound decisions for our city, Lord. Lord, help us to just think about all the needs, Lord, of everyone, not just us who are here on this day. Lord, I ask that you just help us to be more forgiving, more giving, more compassionate, and more loving for one another and our city. These things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all. Would you please pledge allegiance led by Alderman John Jones?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank all of y'all. Mr. Thomas, roll call, please, sir.
Alderman White. Here. Alderman Bledsoe.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Jones.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Robbins.
Here.
All right. Item number 1 on the agenda is a vote for the municipal document. Is there a motion? Alderman Smith.
I move that we approve the municipal document as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Number 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman White.
I move that we accept the consent agenda items A through L with dropping B to be an executive session matter. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman White, a second by Alderman Roberts. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman White. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones. Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Roberts.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Number 20 on the agenda is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman White.
I move to accept the claims documents with funds available and budgeted. With the general fund 194,903.61, library fund 1116.44, economic development fund 0, utility fund 224,087.41.
Second.
We got a motion by Alderman White, a second by Alderman Jones. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Robinson.
Alderman Roberts. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Number 4 is special guest presentation. I don't have anything listed. There being none, we're going to have Roman numeral 5, planning. Letter A. Mr. Barber, did you want to come forward? Good to see you, Mr. Barber.
Yes, sir. Mayor, Board, thank you. I'm Bob Barber, as you know, I'm providing some interim services during this time when you're looking for folks in your planning department. I appreciate the feeling for the board. Thank you for the opportunity. I wasn't able to be here last month. I see familiar faces and friends, and I really appreciate the opportunity to serve Fort Lake for this interim period.
We thank you for doing so, Mr. Barber.
Thank you, Mayor. There are 3 items here on the planning docket. I appreciated getting back into local planning and getting to know your system of doing things. If I don't quite observe your protocols, I hope you'll forgive me for that, as I'm getting accustomed to how you prefer your business to be carried out. There are 3 items on the agenda. The first one is a carryover from the last meeting. This is a request for a preliminary site plan, approval preliminary site plan for 3 lots in the Soda Farms Corporate Park subdivision. Brenda Solomito is here. This came before you last time. There were a couple items that needed to be discussed. My understanding is the Solomito has reached out to do that. I won't go into any detail on this particular application except to say she is requesting the 3 lots, and I believe you have that information or have had access to that information. The reason is there is a user and they're ready to construct another building. I'll let Ms. Solomito tell you a little bit about those details. The location is on Interstate Boulevard, right as it curves to the north. And this particular piece of ground is a part of the Soda Farms Corporate Park, and it stretches roughly between Interstate Boulevard all the way over to Interstate 55. The Planning Commission heard this back in September, I believe it was, and they recommended approval to the Mayor Board of Alderman. So, Mayor, if you need additional information on that.
I don't. I know Alderman Jones expressed concerns about some items when this came up at the last meeting. We're glad to see Ms. Brenda back too. So, Alderman Jones, did you have any questions for Mr. Bob or Ms. Brenda?
Well, I'd rather discuss some of this because I wasn't the only person on the board at the time, but the conversation I had with Ms. Ms. Solomon, okay, excuse me, I'll stand corrected. You've got people that are interested in already occupying these buildings. Some of them.
Yes, sir. Alderman Jones, Brenda Solomito, Land Planning, 1779 34 Memphis. We were here last time because we do have a user. The existing building that's shown on your aerial photograph right here up in the northeast corner of the overall development was constructed in approximately 2007. Currently, one of its tenants are Delta Technical. They want to expand. So the plan is to construct in accordance with the master plan, which is page 2 of the handout, the building which looks like building 5, and to allow them to locate in that new building for their expansion. That's the one directly west. The numbering is off. They didn't occur in order. The master plan was approved in 2004, and then the first building was constructed in 2007. And then you'll see on the 3rd page, see on the last page you're handing out there, which is lot 2, will be the location of the first new building. So again, it is planned business park, and we will abide by the conditions of the planned business park zoning district. And the master plan was approved. There have been no changes to the master plan since its original approval in 2004. So you remember the building, so we can correct that with the revised master plan. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. At your instructions, all the grounds I have spoken and submitted all the previously approved civil engineering construction drawings to the Public Works Department so that they would have a current record of what was approved in 2007 for the building and the master drainage plan that was approved in 2004.
Does lumber liquidator still occupy space in that building?
Yes, sir, they do.
Yes, sir.
They do.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Is there, I really feel better if I was in, we had a conversation other than on the floor about this. So, can we talk about some of this stuff in the executive session, or do we have to put that on the floor?
We can certainly talk about it in determination for executive.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying.
And find out if it's a valid reason to go into executive session.
Let me try that first before we, I don't want to bring up something that could cause a kink without being correct.
Does anyone else have any questions for Ms. Plunger or Mr. Bob?
What, on, I guess on the second page, the existing building will be building 3, correct? It's already there? Okay, and the one you want to build is actually building 5?
Yes, sir.
Are they the same height, same size?
Yeah, it is, my client is probably one of the only developer and constructor of these type of complexes, office, small distribution. They range from about 50 to 35,000, smaller, up to 100 to 200,000 in some markets. But these are true office distribution, and there are a number of them all over Shelby County. There's probably 10 of them in Bartlett. We are working on a development right now that straddles the Shelby County, Fayette County line at 385. It's got over 300 acres. We have 7 lots approved in Carnival right on Shelby Drive at the terminus of Shelby Drive at the I-269 engine. So they're all the same, and they own them all and manage them all.
So on this, you're showing that the lot that you want to change to is like 3.99 acres, and then the existing lot is 4.55?
Yes, sir. And that is, because this is business what we do have an overall master plan. As each final site plan comes in, we can re-record or record another subdivision customized to the building and the tenants that are in that building. And then that way you get to see the developments as they come along.
So this one that you're presenting us, that's the original one that
Yes,
it's already on, that's on the county docket now?
That was approved in 2004, yes, sir.
Okay.
The detention pond's not there.
The detention pond, yes, sir. The first phase of development did not require the building of that pond because of the amount of green space that's still there. The second building, we will work with Public Works to determine and for engineering to determine what size detention needs to be there for this next building. So all I can do is speak to what was allowed to be built without detention, and then we can work with them on how big this detention will need to be.
Well, since that first building has been built, we flooded that area on a couple of occasions, so before we build anything, we have to have some detention.
Yes, and then a lot of that area is in the floodplain, so it will flood, but we will work with engineering, public works to appropriately size for this building. Yes, sir. Because I imagine they won't let us get a building permit without it.
Yes.
I imagine that would be the case.
Alderman.
I know I was here on the original beginning of this.
Yes, sir.
Didn't start out good on the front end, so that means it wasn't, I don't know why it was so misleading on the front end. And so I still have that feeling that it's still being misleading. I don't care who represents this property here, but I still want to talk about it with the rest of the Alderman and stuff when we go back there. But some of the things that were said were going to be done with this, completing on this property prior to the first phase of it, never happened. The retention pond, I mean, I know they talked about it, but it was never done. So, and that's out there. So I just, we need to look at things a lot more.
I could potentially address that for you, Alderman. Originally, it was part of a much larger development plan that permitted the expenditures of a number of off-site improvements. So unfortunately, that structure fell apart, did not come to be for a number of reasons that I imagine y'all discussed. So it was, I don't know, 100% all assurance say, not at the fault of the applicant.
Are you referring to the recession?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir. That could be part of it, not specifically.
So what type of development, Mr. Wagner still owns the property?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What type of development does he plan to do in the near future that this will advance to?
So the subdivision will permit us to build one more building and whatever infrastructure associated with that building, because our utilities are already stubbed over there. So that was part of the first requirement that we had to meet. So with this next building, associated infrastructure, meaning storm drain, and the building will be constructed. And this will kick off the remainder of the development. You know, we have kind of a lonely building sitting out there all by itself, but once you see some activity over there, and the wonderful access from Interstate Drive, I said, there is a lot of activity and a lot of interest as a result of the exposure and cleaning in one way. So there's a lot of call, there's a lot of interest, but I imagine this building being under construction will spark more activity.
Anybody else have anything else? Well, I think, and nobody's told me this, I'm just thinking out loud here, excuse me. It would seem like some of the concern is when they would increase the flow of water coming under the bridge and into Horn Lake. But you're talking about your engineers working with Mr. Fence and coming up with a workable solution where it will make it a viable spot for building, jobs and taxes, but it will not increase the flow of water coming down to Horn Lake.
It will work to make sure that it does not negatively impact anyone.
I like your egress road there. Certainly don't want to cut off your own lots. Mr. Shields, did you have anything to say on this when we're talking about water?
No, sir, no. You know, just as you just said, the retention and everything, it depends on the site plan and everything, whether it requires detention to keep it from increasing the flow going down the creek. That's strictly on the benefits of the retention pond. Obviously, it doesn't benefit that property one way or the other. It's just to make sure it doesn't increase the flow coming our way, coming on down into the city. So, and then that once they present a site plan for construction, then that would be determined at that time. What size, if anything, what size it would need to be.
Did the other members of the board, did you have anything to say, Ms. Wayne?
I think I can kind of piggyback on Commissioner's comments about the retention. And so the purpose of this national plan, when it was approved, was to illustrate a possibility of how this development could construct, what it would look like at 100% build out. And so you see the roads, the landscaping, and there are several areas of proposed detention and then possible other areas, if needed, could be utilized for detention. This master plan is a snapshot at total build out. So the next phase, if approved tonight, for lot 2, will provide a detailed drainage study to see how much the shape and the location of that detention pond, so that it does not negatively impact any downstream properties. So, and again, that was the purpose of this master plan, which was a snapshot at the maximum total build out.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Alderman White.
If this is passed, what's the time frame on this?
They would want to start construction early next year. We would go through our administrative review process, get the subdivision plat reported, then go through the final site plan, and then be able to start construction.
Anyone else have any more questions? Comments? Did y'all want to hold this over for the closed determination like Alderman Jones requested? Yeah. Is that what y'all want to do?
That's what he wants to do.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Bob, number 2 on there, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Item 2 was heard at the last planning commission meeting. This is case 1739-1740 involving a conditional use for cell tower and its associated site plan. This particular cell tower is located at 5811 Highway 51 North. And in more common terms, it's behind Mr. Sargent's go-kart track. So it's not really on Highway 51, it's down just west of the go-kart track. The Planning Commission heard the matter on October the 30th. They discussed it, it was advertised, the sign was placed up for a public hearing. Mr. McGee is here to represent the application, but the Planning Commission recommended approval of the tower along with its site plan, and he can describe the tower in more detail.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. Mr. McGee, welcome. If you'd be kind enough to give your name and address to clerk, I sure would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is David McGee, and I'm here to represent Verizon Wireless. I'm at email address.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. 121 Village Boulevard in Madison. Thanks for hearing us tonight. Yes, Mr. Robert said we're here to request approval of a new monopole design communications tower. I think we filed this last week. Mr. Briley was here, and this is, as he said, I guess you might say, kind of behind the go-kart track there, but it has proposed to access off of Nails Road rather than 51 property addressed at 51, and it's a pretty size of the tract, a 15.7 acre tract. And it is in a C3 zone, the property is, and it is proposed, I think close to, meets all the setbacks, and it's proposed a substantial distance, close to 200 feet. I've got the site plan here off the road, which meets all the setbacks, and we felt it left the frontage, you know, for future use or development, such the case may be, but also still has a good bit of distance to the south, which is on residential. So let's see. Rather than the real estate process, the engineers determined that this is where they needed a site, and they have provided a sworn statement that says that their objective is for a completely interconnected network with this site is somewhat equal distance from the existing site so that you don't have any drop areas in the, communication coverage area. So first step is to try to, locate an existing structure in the area on which they're co-located. I know that two of the sites in the propagation maps that the engineers provided, I think are on the all city water tanks. I think one is close here, and then one is at Church Road and kind of that intersection with the interstate. They determined that they were either not tall enough or close enough. I think the closest one is a little bit over 3/4 of a mile away. So, began looking for a location for a new spot and found this one that met the setbacks. So, they determined this, if this height would close their coverage gap. We're just trying to keep up with the demand for the wireless service. Talking to Mr. Barber before we came in here, but I know when I started this, it was, we didn't need so many of these things, and we were just talking about voice, but now we've got data, pictures, and video, and demand is greater for these things, so they're just trying to keep up with the demand. And be glad I got some maps and anything else. If I can, okay. I know they are, I think they're all submitted, but I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Alderman Jones.
Aren't you planning on putting this toward the back of the property, just before you get to the residential? Right up close. I'm gonna say right up close. I'm gonna give me footage between your pole and John Woods.
Yes.
Catering.
Between the fence, the back of those houses there, I think that it's, we've got that noted on our site plan here, which I have, maybe it's taking a second to find it, but just offhand, it's close to 175 feet, I believe. You might say it's more in the middle, between the back of that fence and Nail Road that pushed to the back. And so we were, just wanted to kind of a best balance between keeping that distance from there and then also keeping enough off Nail Road, for a few minutes. And let's see, I know I've got that distance right here. I think, let's see, it should be close to. Let's see, here we go. So I told everybody up here, my apologies, a lot of maps here. Here we go. 250 feet from the proposed site to the property line, which is, I guess, the rear fence of the.
It's almost in the middle between the residential and the neighborhood at the front.
Yes, it's going, from my understanding, that it's going to be more or less centered behind, if you were on 51 Highway and look behind his building, it's pretty much going to be directly behind his building, there toward the center of that property, right there at the rear property line of that property. Is that correct?
Okay. I've got an aerial map that knows it.
Where the yellow pin is there.
The reason I was asking, because that's kind of where I understood that he was going to be on that property, kind of directly, if you go out his back door of his building, it's going to be in between the Nail Road and the residential.
Right, and that sounds approximately right. I've been to his building, but I haven't been to the back. I know that's but if you're looking that way, it's about halfway between Nail Road and that that fence line. And it was deep, the property was deep enough that we could do that. So with the executive keeping it off the residential, keeping some frontage too. So.
And still have that access easement off the Nail Road to go in there.
Right, it's on the side of the line, access it. So.
Because John Wood's property goes up the hill a little bit, that property line is for the catering service. So that was my assumption that was explained to me how they were going about it, pretty much directly behind the building, back toward the property line, about center ways of that property. So,
Yeah. Now, I don't want to be a full supporter or whatever, but you're looking at 200 foot off from the Nail Road, 200 foot off the back, 200, you're going off 200 foot from there, wood spot. How is that going to leave the place for building? Because you can't put that there, because when you do that, you have made a 200 foot circle, or however high that pole is, that you can't build around without having access to get something falling on the building in case that pole breaks or whatever, Worst case scenario, I've got to look at it in case how much damage is going to do to somebody's place if you had to build it. And you just 200 foot radius is a lot of land to be tied up. Then you're going to have access off of Nail Road, which means you're going to have to build a drive.
Yes, sir.
Drive is not going to be a rock drive, surely not, right?
Yes, sir.
See?
I think the apron would be paved, off of Nail Road up to the.
Again, that's not going to work. See? I don't want to rain on your parade, but we can't do that. Everybody else has to have a paved or concrete drive. Now, that's a lot of investment in your part, but at the same time, we can't allow you to do something that we won't allow our citizens to do. Now, it's just me talking, but I'm talking as a board member.
I think that the apron permanent aprons might be required to be paved a certain distance so that no gravel would spill out. And this site is not, to be a little construction phase, but will not generate traffic per se. There is a maintenance truck, come in about once a month. Every couple of years they might have to do an antenna upgrade, but there's not regular traffic off of it, such as, a few businesses down. I know they have a gravel company, I think, where they make some of that gravel.
It's a concrete place. They've got a concrete drive.
But
Let me address a couple of items.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the potential collapse of the tower. So the tower has to be built to the same building code as if you were putting a multi-story building there. So from that standpoint, the collapse is really not an issue. From the building code point of view, not saying it could never collapse, but from a building code point of view, he has to build to the same wind loads as any other building, the same foundation status. In terms of the easement to the thing, since it's not a traffic generator, you can't use it for public consumption. Nobody's going back there to buy things. Typically, and I'm going back now to my previous experiences in dealing with cell towers, typically the requirement would be to provide a drive in a certain distance into the site so that it's clean and nail road and we're not spilling gravel out everywhere, and then allow the access easement. However, if the property, and the property will likely subdivide and develop over time, that road would have to be brought into public road standards and paved at that time. That's the experience I'm accustomed to, and again, I'm still coming up to speed, specifically on what's going to be required. But I thought those two pieces of information might be helpful.
Thank you, sir. Am I correct in assuming that the sergeant owned all this land?
Yes.
Because I was just wondering, like Alderman Smith has always been great about bringing up, where's the landowner? And so I guess it would be a safe assumption that he's not here to protest it. He's certainly not opposed to it.
That's correct. Yes,
Mayor, I talked to him Monday to ask him the question that you just asked, and he said he was not opposed to it. He had talked to these people and come to an agreement on looking at that problem.
So Mr. Sargent,
Jay Sargent, he told me, I asked him, I said, are you good with everything that these people are providing? He said, I'm good with it, go ahead. But I mean, take my word. That's what he told me.
okay, thank you, sir.
I just wanted to add to that, same as there, Jay owns all that property to the property line in the rear, the Nail Road all the way out front, all the way to that easement on the south side. So all of that belongs to him. So, like I said, I did ask about the tower and stuff, and it was going to be pretty much directly behind this building, behind the back of this building, as you heard me ask him. So, I know there's some question that Alderman Jones had, and I do understand that with the pavement, we don't let people put rocks in their driveways, put the apron down and then pour that crushed lime rock to drive onto their houses. They either have to have a continuous pour or asphalt. So, and I think it would look a lot nicer and be more presentable with a paved road there, just like on Briarwood right here. AT&T came in and did away with those rocks and poured a concrete slab all the way back to their little service center here. So I think what's good for our citizens is good for our business owners too. So I would agree that we look at the road aspect of that. Asphalt, maintain, concrete, maintain, but we want it to look nice going up there. I would not be opposed to having some shrubbery right there at the entrance of the roadway to even make it look better, But definitely, I'm not against it. I think it's a great idea, but I think we need to do something besides the crushed lime rock is the entryway. We need either asphalt maintained or concrete maintained, either way.
So the way I hear it, if that goes forward, I'm understanding the drive would need to be asphalted all the way, in addition to a landscape plan.
Right, correct.
Yes.
Well, the only thing about landscape is they're not maintaining it, then it looks worse than it did.
Well, it's going to have to be maintained there, put it the most.
But if we don't put it in motion.
What if that motion goes forward, what I would envision was some kind of evergreen, something that would be an easy maintenance item, right, to be plain to address it.
Thanks.
Well,
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
I guess that puts the ball back in your court now, Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir. Verizon was going to work with the city, of course, and to make this happen. And I guess my only question, I guess, would be if would maybe pave a certain distance into the entrance and then switch over to like the crushed limestone so that if
I think what he's recommending is the drive needs to be paved. You could pave one lane, but you need to have an asphalt drive from street to facility.
Okay. I just, my own, sorry.
Alderman Bledsoe, I'm sorry.
Since this is in my ward, we fought this before with other businesses wanting to do that. They came in and put red rock, and it was like this. That's where the ordinance come from. So Penny knows when they did that saddle, whatever it was they had, they built them horse trailers. Anyway, that's why we come up with the asphalt, and a lot of our citizens were real concerned about that kind of stuff. We were too, because once he gets in there, he's going to get stuck, and then he's going to take 18-wheeler to pull him out. So, yeah, asphalt would be good, and it don't have to be, you know, like a super highway or anything. It's just, I think it make it look a lot better.
And it has,
Alderman Jones.
I'm not trying to go force, but it has to be maintained. You can't, our citizens have, that's when we got these codes and we put them in. And we had people that got grandfathered in with the rock driveways, because in the county, they do allow crushed rock. And you can have gravel driveways because that's in the county. In the city, they don't allow that. And when they first come in, when they didn't become a city, a lot of our residents had crushed driveways, and they got grandfathered in. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But the ones that wanted it got it. But it's phasing them out. If people move or they don't pay their thing, it goes away. It was a deal to make everybody. So again, just me, I can't see making the citizens that elected me to come up here pay to have their places paid or concreted, and then another business come in and not do it. So it either has to be paid or I can't vote for it. So, but I mean, I'm only one vote.
Mr. McKee. Yes.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
If y'all cease to use this, do y'all have a thing, how many days you gonna take to take it down?
Yes,
You
sir.
just not gonna leave it there?
No, sir.
We ran into that before.
That's not good. We, in the lease agreement with Mr. Sarton, if they cease to use it, they will take it down at their expense, you know, down to the slightly below grade. And I think that it's 180 days, I'm pretty sure. It's not long.
Not 2 or 3 years.
No, sir, it's not that long, so, and I don't think there's a liability of it, you know, to pay and insure it and everything.
Right.
If they're not going to use it, so.
Did you have any further remarks?
Oh, I guess so. Like I say, glad to work with the city and understand where you're coming from on the road. I guess if you mentioned that if he were to develop the front and, you know, for commercial or some other kind of use, then we have to move the road.
No, I was saying if you use that easement in the future as a road to service other lots, it would have to be brought up to city standards. Curb, gutter, all the things to be used. Right now, you're using it for essentially a driveway.
Right. It's just would be for our use at this point.
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
well, this lot, will it be fenced? 'Cause
Yes.
we do have some that we'll try to get up there and climb it.
Yes, sir, for sure. It will be fenced all the way to the lot gate.
Razor wire.
And I think so. I think the 3 foot top, so
You're not going to, you're not going to store any, stuff there on site unless you have a building, right?
That's correct, and nothing will be stored, and there's not even an enclosed shelter proposed. It's they're going to outdoor cabins.
Because I mean, and I'm not trying to bring your parade again, but we have had places that build, and they store real big old reels of cable out there, and then the reels of cable rots down, and they got a bunch of junk out there, and then we have to go out and say, build a wooden fence around it to hide the junk. So, I mean, I don't want to, I'm giving you instances. I mean, I'm not picking on you.
No, I
I'm just saying,
understand. I've been to
this
a
is
rural
happening.
side too and seen a big school like you described.
Yeah.
Alderman Jones, you might include, or when the time comes, that might be made a condition, no outside storage.
Yeah, that's what I was asking first, because and I'm not saying you're going to do it. I'm just saying we've seen it in the past. There ain't no sense in this, you know, okie dokie, and then this comes up. So, you know, there's one on 301. Okay, they got a wire fence, you know, then they've got a wood fence, hard to see around it, but they got a little bitty building, and they use the little bitty building to work on parts that come in. So the truck stays out there a lot. So, you know, granted, that's right across the street from the city, it's in the county, but I don't want to see that drift over to the city, then we got a problem. So that's why I was trying to avoid it.
In our lease area, you're not even really sizable enough for the store on the side. We do have a little turnaround in the front, but it's not really big enough to store anything. Mr.
Sheila, did you have any comment on this, sir?
They have a backup generator system to that site.
Yes, sir. I think since Katrina, they started putting generators on.
Do you know what the generator has a sound enclosure on it, or?
I know
what the decibel level on it would be.
I probably have those specs in here. I don't know them offhand. And I know they use quiet packs on a lot of them.
Yeah. I'm like these guys. You know, because it's going to come on at least, I know at least once a week and test it on, and none of us like getting that phone call, you know, every Monday morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock, this lady gets woke up, she's not happy.
Right.
Is fuel going to be stored on it too?
Yeah, just what's in the, just what's on the big generator.
Just as well, like
Bottom
tank.
Most of them got 250 gallons.
Yeah.
Separate. And, but we, you know, we're glad that
You stipulate a quiet pack?
Yeah, I mean, being in that area, quiet pack would be needed.
I have one question, Mr. Mayor. I think I understood the intent of this site is not to replace any existing Verizon site. Is that correct?
that's correct. It's to augment and kind of be equidistant from them. And a lot of these sites, there's so much traffic here that it will, I guess you might say, offload some of the traffic so they all work better. But that's correct. It's not intended to replace one.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Alderman Johnson.
Comment, I am a Verizon wireless customer. And I experience so many problems coming through there, so it is very much needed. I do have a question, however, would it have any other attachments? I've seen some with flags on them that are worn and tattered before. Are we planning anything like that, or has it been thought about?
This doesn't have any attachments like that proposed, so.
Be a single monopole.
Okay, okay.
No guy wire.
Mr. Bob, did you?
I have no other comments other than I'm noting the various items that have been discussed, which are the drive-in asphalted quiet pack on the generator, and there was another item. Oh, landscaping the frontage there.
Yeah, no storage on site.
And no storage on site, so that's all.
All right, sir. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. McGee or Mr. Bob or anybody? Did you want to make?
Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing on conditional use
Oh, okay.
of this application, so it would be appropriate to ask for any, yes, comments.
All right, anybody in the audience? Mr. Miller?
Keep your seat, Mr. Miller.
No, I want everyone to see me. I don't want any misunderstanding.
Everybody's already seen you,
This.
Mr. Miller. That's why I said keep your seat.
Thank you. My name is Francis J. Miller. I want to thank Mr. Barber for coming on board, having your representative give me my right to speak at a public hearing at a planning commission meeting for the first time in 2 years where you printed on those red boards. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Now, for the public hearing part of the Board of Aldermen, I agree 100% with all aldermen that have spoken about it is mandatory that the company has to do the same thing that I have to do as a citizen, which is do not park my vehicle, boat, car, airplane, whatever else, on the grass or on gravel. I hope every alderman votes mandatory pavement like Charlie Roberts, Alderman Charlie Roberts mentioned. That has to be mandatory.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Teal?
Hello.
Hello, sir. I think Mr. Robinson might know the name of this one.
Yeah, you're right.
Say something.
I have one problem, not with the tower, but you gotta practice what you preach. Okay? Tell me you can't have gravel, right across the street from me, the city has gravel going right out to that pumping station. Practice what you preach. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry.
Well, I say, thank you, sir. Did anybody have any questions? I don't think we do, Mr. Teal.
Okay, because it's gravel right there going all the way out. And they tear it up, and I've called many times, and they go out there every year and they tear that gravel up and they rust it. Okay, so if you're going to tell people they can't build, once they put in concrete or blacktop, city needs to do the same. That's all I ask.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Anyone else speak yea or nay in this matter? Mr. Bryan?
As I understand it, the intent of the law is to improve the appearance. Well, once it becomes non-visible, why do we concern ourselves, whether it's gravel or concrete or whatever? I mean, that's always been the objection I heard, was that it was the appearance. Well, if you can't see it, let them slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anybody have any questions or comments, Mr. Bryan? Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Is there anyone else to speak yea or nay on this? All right. Public hearing is closed. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Roberts.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of construction of a wireless communication facility located at 5811 Highway 51 North, along with the continuous asphalt driveway to the facility, along with the landscaping, and it must be maintained in all areas and no outside storage. Also, if the cell phone tower ceases operation, it will be completely removed within 180 days from the property.
Let's go one time about the generator too. About the generator.
And also the generator.
What do you call it? Quiet pack?
Quiet pack. And it must be maintained in the lights for the tower, the grass, and the fencing along with the asphalt driveway.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Jones. Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, the final item on the plan agenda then is a request for you to consider a temporary moratorium on what the ordinance now calls an urban bank. And the reason for it is this. In my brief time with you, we've had a number of inquiries about title loans, check cashing, short-term loans, etc. And the ordinance phrases it as an urban bank, and the definition, I'm not comfortable with the definition. It's not tight enough to me. I'd like to clarify it. And we were kicking this around to figure out how best maybe we could do it. So the suggestion was if the board would consider a moratorium, meaning a temporary halt, just hold the phone for a period of, let's say, 180 days, and let us craft a definition so that we know that we're tight with it. Again, the suggestion might be a moratorium on urban banks, which would include check cashing, title loans, small or payday loans, or any other similar type of business that's licensed under the Mississippi Department of Banking and Consumer Finance under Mississippi Code 7567-1. That's simply technical language to say, pause a moment and let us get a good definition.
Mayor? Yes, sir.
Did we stop? Did we put a moratorium?
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, one that was supposed to be already in effect.
But
It's not clear enough, I don't think, what this.
I don't recall a moratorium on those. Those are businesses that are licensed by the state, so you really can't not approve those businesses when they come to town. What we can do is put them in a zone where we want them. And they are currently in the M1 and M2 zone as conditional uses. The problem we have is, as Mr. Barber said, we really don't have a definition for urban banks. He's been challenged on that recently, so we need to come up with one.
Also, right now in the process, I don't know if you've heard of it, but we do have a couple of them right here in town. They're in the process of being bought out by some other people. And I know last time that some of them were bought out, they kind of just slid through. But definitely working on this, we need to make it, if they cease to be XYZ and they're going to ABC, then they need to come back in and do everything they need to do.
Yes.
They need to apply.
Yes,
At this present time, if ABC buys XYZ, they just slide in and put them together and keep right on rolling, and then continue, even though it's changed ownership, they're still rolling as XYZ, but really ABC owns them now. So we definitely need to tighten that up on these that are in the process of being sold, and that way it'd be mandatory that they come in and it'll be a new business rather than just, even though they're assuming business, but they need to go through all the aspects to be approved and brought before the planning commission, whereas now they're buying them and just flying by night with them. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's just my input, and I hope we can do something about that, because we need to know when another person buys a business, and whether it's that business or any other business. So, but that's going on right now, President, right here in our city. Thank you, sir.
Are there any more comments or questions?
I have no more questions, Mr. Campbell.
Alderman Smith.
Did you, what you're saying is it is a state license that we cannot put a moratorium?
No, you can. I think the discussion was we already had one, or we had sort of had one in place for a year. And that's not.
Well, ever since we started getting overrun.
Well, you know, not just the market, but the state license those businesses, not us.
And how long can we put this in effect for?
Well, I think your barber suggested 180 days.
But if we need more, then we can come back and revisit.
You can, but.
Or we can set it longer and then get it solved sooner than we can.
This is plenty of time for us to get a definition.
Just ask.
Adopted and enforced.
Anybody else? Did you have any more comments, Mr. Bob?
No, sir.
All right, it's not a public hearing, Mr. Bryan. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
I move that we put a 180-day moratorium on urban banks.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman White, a motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman White. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman White.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Thank you, Mr. Bob.
Thank you.
We still want to go on that closed determination.
Yes, sir, I
Great. All right, new business. I don't have anything listed. Anybody? All right, moving on down, number 7. Mayor Alderman correspondence. I want to thank all the departments for all the people that were involved in Christmas in the park. It was a very nice turnout. It was a lot of work, but I want to thank everybody involved. I think everybody saw on the board the invitation from Smith Phillips Hernandez for this Friday night. And then I was just going to ask Mr. Billy, is there anything else we need to be doing at this stage on our hotel thing? And we already contacted a representative to introduce it.
Not yet, Mr. Mayor. This was adopted at the last meeting,
Yes.
November 21st, and we approved those minutes tonight. So
It's ready to go.
yes, we'll take a certified copy of the resolution from that board meeting and give it to Representative Hill this week.
Nice. Now that's what the second side.
You know, I think we're gonna, the strategy this year may be just to start on the house side, and let's see what happens over there, because, I don't think we're gonna have any problems on the Senate side.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Kevin, any yours? All right. I'm sure that's all I have here. Okay. Alderman White, do you have anything, sir?
No.
Alderman Bledsoe?
No, sir.
Alderman Smith?
Trying to get clarification from Billy on one thing there.
Yes, sir.
Hold up just a second.
One thing.
Alderman Bledsoe?
Thank you, Francis, for the tree out in front.
I understand I need to put lights on it, and I will.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Maybe you can get some help.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Captain Strauser will help me.
Right.
Mayor,
Alderman Smith?
I move that we untable the 3-step promotions in the police department that we put on last time we tabled it. We just to untable the 3-step promotions.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Smith. Who seconded it?
I did.
Alderman Roberts seconded.
That's all it
Discussion? Any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman?
that is for the officers that were going from P1s, 2s, and
Yes,
3s.
you said step right.
Yes, step promotion.
I know some people don't know what that is, so that's why I explained.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed.
Mayor,
Did you have anything else, sir?
yes, sir. I move that we approve the 3-step promotions in the police department.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Roberts? You want a second?
Second. Yes, sir.
We have a motion by Alderman Smith. We have a second by Alderman Roberts. Is there any discussion?
Is there the money in going to be there to pay the raises?
Mr. Robinson, I know this is a slow time of year for the cash flow coming into our city coffers. Alderman Jones had a very good question. He want to know if we approve those raises tonight, will there be funds to cover?
Well, as you know, it is a slow time, but, you know, all things that are approved will have to be funded some way or another, so.
Well, funded some way or another, it's kind of vague.
Yes, sir. Yes, I mean, there's, it is budgeted in there, so all that was budgeted. I do have you know, financial standing that I can give to the board just on our condition where we are, but as of right now, yes, everything is being funded.
So if I understand you, not only is it budgeted, but these can be funded. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, yes, everything is funded at this point. I cannot speak to the future before we get our big sales tax checks.
Yes, sir. Do you have a chance, and I know this is cold, but our chief might can answer this, what it would cost to go in and fund, what this would add to the actual dollar figure?
And I don't have that.
Chief, the chief, probably, I imagine the chief's got that right handy.
Yes, sir, I figured it up for these 5 remaining pay periods, from which when it will take effect till when y'all tabled it, and it's less than $500 pay period.
Is that per officer or total?
That's total for all 3.
So you're talking about $2,500?
Right. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Anyone else, holiday pay, everything?
That includes everything, yes, sir.
Retirement?
Yes, sir.
Anyone have any questions for Chief Lyon? All right. Roll call, please.
I did have one question about the effective date of these raises, because we're working on.
December the 17th, next pay period will start.
Well, I believe Alderman Smith made a motion, sir. I believe it'd be up to Alderman Smith to put it in there when he wants to be effective.
Well, December 17th is fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
Your second's still good on that?
Yes, it's still good.
Yes, sir. Is there any more discussion? Alderman White.
If you're doing it December 17th, that will even bring down the...
Right, correct.
Correct?
No, sir, December 17th would be 5 pay periods starting on December 17th.
Oh, okay.
Did you have another comment? No. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Alderman White. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Motion carries 5 in favor, 1 opposed.
Mayor, I have one more thing.
Yes, sir, Alderman Smith.
I think that we need to get something to recognize Amy Lake. Her time that she put in, what she put in, a certificate, a plaque, however we want to do it, give her a nameplate. She worked hard, put in a lot of time, especially with the youth. So I think that she should be recognized by the board.
Okay.
So does it need to be in a motion or how we?
We're going to spend city funds, we have that motion.
We spend money a lot. As long as it comes out of a budget, approved budget line item somewhere.
Do we want to try to make contact with her and have her here at the next meeting to present this?
Let's get everything together, prior to, and then.
Worst comes to worst, us up here that just chip in some money to buy it. Whatever. It's up to the
I go
board.
either way, it don't matter to me.
doesn't matter to me, but we've always recognized, Alderman who have left in one way or another. I just feel like it ain't took so much time, her time, that we need to recognize.
She did serve well all the time. Ms. Littleton, did you have anything, ma'am? No. You always are awards lady.
Oh, we'll do whatever I normally do. That's what the wishes of the board.
I wish you would.
Like what everybody wants to do.
That's
Give her her name, please. All right. Thank you, sir. Anybody have any objections? Anything else on?
No, that's all.
Alderman Jones, you have anything, sir? No. Alderman Johnson? Alderman Roberts?
I do have two things.
All right, sir.
Saturday night was definitely different with parade in the park. There were quite a few people there, but it was definitely different. It's the first time I didn't experience that. And the people that were there were excited, and the kids seemed to have a lot of fun, hollering for sound and stuff. So that was good. And like I said, there was quite a few people there for. I would have liked to see some more floats there, but the turnout was still strong for that. And I got one more thing, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to hire a public defender for the court department at $1,000 a month with health insurance benefits. Immediately put it out there. We have to have a public defender for the courts. I make a motion that we give TAR the authority to put the benefits on it, the health insurance benefits, and let's get somebody hired to protect us on the liability part of that.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right. Second by Alderman Smith, motion by Alderman Roberts, second by Alderman Smith. I feel like we should have known about this to be on the agenda. But Ms. Tara has emphasized that, can we call you down here, Ms. Tara?
Sure.
We very seldom get to have the privilege of your presence because you're usually so busy on Tuesday, you're wrapping up. I know in the consent agenda we accepted the resignation Mr. Holder.
Yes.
And thank him for his service, wish him well. I know Alderman Jones came down. I walked over with him and you and I explained the situation. But for the benefit of the other members of the board, or maybe the people right here, you can explain why this is imperative because it's going to cost more money. You would.
Of course, Mr. Holden resigned. We got 2 weeks' notice. Today was his last day. 2 weeks ago, we put it out to the Bar Association and nobody has applied for this job. Guys, it's $1,000 a month. If any of you have ever hired a lawyer, that's not a lot of money for me to be here every single Tuesday. We're here sometimes till late at night. We try not to be. But sometimes we are, but it's an all-day thing. They do it for Christmas, and they also appointed more cases from the courtroom. I'm asking that you let them put it back out there to offer health insurance and try to get a public defender to apply for it. We have to ask them.
They won't get any retirement at all, just the health insurance benefits is the only thing that'll be added to it. And there's money in our budget to do that, and it will pay for the health insurance benefits. So it's a win-win situation if it keeps us out of the lawsuit, because we don't have a public defender.
Does the law require us to have a public defender?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Holder, and you had anybody else even apply? We got court Thursday.
I don't have public defenders on Thursday.
Okay.
They're here on Tuesday.
When you and I were discussing this with Alderman Jones, you said that your budget you have for a public defender, and a part-time public defender. But the only way you can get the money to offer insurance is to use the funds you would need for a public part-time public defender.
Yes.
And when I asked you what happens if you You said, well, we just have to, except we used to just cross that bridge when we come to it. That wasn't exact words, but that's
At
what.
this point, yes, sir, and the judge is here, that he can also explain some of this matter. Based on the new rules, we have to see prisoners every 48 hours. A lot of the cities, I know South Haven has come in and they see their prisoners, and you're supposed to have them a public defender in place when you see them. We right now do it by video. If it comes down to it and push comes to shove, and they tell me we have to have one here in order to see prisoners by video, I have to have one here.
I know that you have to have it, I can understand that, thank you, ma'am. I'm just asking you about the funding for it. I want to make sure that the board understood where that money was coming from. Does anybody have any questions? Ms. Tom?
I've discussed this with Tara.
But I don't know how many other board members have or not. But I want to make sure, the citizens up there know where the money is coming from. Because I know you're stretched, Ms. Tara, and I know that you don't like having a dip over there either. But anybody have any questions, Ms. Tara? Thank you, Ms. Tara. We have a motion by Alderman Roberts. Who made the second? Alderman Smith. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. And again, good luck to you, Ms. Dolan. All right.
Mayor, I have one thing, real quick. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and stay safe during the holiday season. And thank everybody for being here tonight. I'm done.
All right.
That's a big Charlie, you don't have to do that again.
Sure, yeah.
All right. All right, going on down to number 8, department head correspondence. Chief Riles, you have any things?
No, sir, I don't.
All right.
I do for Chief Rouse.
All right, yes, sir.
Chief Rouse, I'd like to tell you, you and Deputy Chief for the unmarked patrol unit that has been making stops through our subdivisions in Horn Lake. I appreciate that. You said you were going to take care of that. I've seen them working, so let's keep it up. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Captain Riles? The Chief Riles, excuse me, Chief. All right, Mr. Penny, you have anything from the board?
No.
Anybody have anything from Mr. Penny? All right, Captain Chief.
The only thing the fire department has for y'all, Mr. Mayor, board, and the citizens, we're coming up on cold weather. Space heaters, keep them shut off when they're not needed, keep them 3 feet away from anything that can catch on fire. If you've got a live tree in your house, water the tree. It needs water. Other than that, we don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
Y'all did a good response on Shandy Drive the other night on that fire.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
If you get a chance to go by and look at the county chief's house, he's got a beautiful light display synchronized to music at his home. It really puts you in the Christmas spirit.
Don't go by tonight, they didn't turn them on.
Sorry?
I said, don't go by tonight, they didn't turn them on.
Mr. Calvert is here. That's why he's not here tonight. Yeah, go ahead. Mr. Vance, you have any things?
Mayor, just to bring the board up to speed on my project, that's the Allen subdivision, redirecting the sewer from the Crua treatment plant to Memphis. That project is completed pretty much. They have a startup anticipated in July. So we were kind of in agreement to have that done by the end of the year, so it looks like that will be on schedule. And also, I hope to say the city about $2,000 a month because of the difference in the sewer rates.
What was that last part?
I said I also saved the city about $2,000 due to the fact that we're going to Memphis to Cornwall.
Good. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Vance?
Just keep building that rapport.
Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, do you have anything for us?
No, sir.
I want to remind everybody we have a big election this coming Tuesday. Mr. Francis is not a candidate this year on this one. But please, anybody in Ward 1, Tell them to come out and vote. Ward 5, excuse me. Have them come out and vote.
One. I knew it was fine. We're set. Ward 1. You haven't left it.
Rather run you off, you just got here. Hey, wait a minute.
Ward 6. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Vince? Ms. Lively, you have anything from the board?
I just would like to thank the board for the approval of the pet insurance. I'm super excited, and we're going to be the first in the area and in the county, so I'm really excited to put that out there.
Well, from the benefit of citizens here, you had to cost the city, Ms. Lively just all out the insurance company, off of pet insurance. If the employees want to avail themselves of that, but it costs the city nothing. The employees who choose to do that pay 100%. But I appreciate you getting the option, because my dog just went through the bill and $850. I wish I had it today. All right, I think that takes care of that. Is there a motion? Oh, Mr. Billy, I'm sorry.
That's okay, Mayor. I don't have anything.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Campbell? Is there a motion for closed determination?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
I move we go into closed determination executive session.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Smith, a second by Alderman Jones. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman White. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Robbins.
Just like I'm trying to do.
That's the one I did see. The one in that pocket over here in the drive. Yes, yes, about 13 bucks.
All right. Is there a motion to come out of closed determination?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
I move we come out of closed determination.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Roberts. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Ms. Brennan. Call on you, please. Oh, Mr. Pryor. We are the city planner from Hernando meeting tonight. Ms. Brennan, some of the board members have some concerns about signage and about the retention or detention plans for this. I believe Alderman Jones is concerned about, well, they're both concerned about both of them, all of them. Alderman Jones.
The detention pond is a must, and I need to make sure that it's going to be enough to I don't start a little one just to take care of this. I want the detention pond to take care of everything, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, but detention pond is going to be a must first thing. I don't care if you build another building. That's my point of view.
So, and I'm going to help you along with that right now, talking to my client earlier. And really, of course, your approvals for the first phase, engineer Gerald Davis was the engineer of record for the city of Sunlight. And so, more detail is currently there is an existing pond in the southwest corner of the property. And at that time, Gerald Davis determined that that pond was adequate for the first building. That's how we got the building permit and the drawings. And so just a little history for the remainder of the Alderman. And going forward, working with engineering and public works to make sure the different centers are taken care of.
Thank you. Second, and again, it's not my, I don't have a dog in this hunt. Signage, I think that I mean, y'all the one building the building, y'all should have signage, but that's on y'all. But I know that there are, let's see, obviously tenants that y'all have that has expressed to me when I've been there about not having signage for his business that he lives in. So I'd like to, before you build a building, I'd like to have some idea or some viewpoint of how the signage is going to work, or whether each tenant is going to have the signage to represent their property properly on Interstate Boulevard or the best way or whatever.
So as a part of your original master development plan business part, there was signage approved, very tall signage. I'm sorry I did not bring that with me, but that was part of the record. And so what we will do with this next phase, bring forth an updated sign package for both attached and detached signage. So we'll be happy to do that.
If I might,
yes, sir.
I might add, the site is going to have to be subdivided. So she will be back before the board with a subdivision application, and that might be a time when we can display the sign package and so forth.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be, again, I'm not trying to be contrary. I just, you know, this problem has come up and it's been addressed to me. So even though it's not in my area, it's been addressed to me. I want to make sure that it's addressed by y'all if y'all are going to continue to build buildings and do business. I want to be able to make sure that all the people involved in the city and have business there are represented.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we will address those concerns.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Roberts, you have anything?
I would like to see some proof in the pudding. The retention pond started first, and some signage. Otherwise, I'm not in support of this at this time. I believe the retention pond needs to be completed, and our engineer and our public works director be involved with that, so that we get the right everything all the way around for the retention pond, and then bring the signage back in front of us, and then let me look at it and see some good faith on that part, then I could see that we're moving forward. But the retention pond and stuff is from the past misleading, and I cannot support that at this time.
Alderman, a couple of things about the design and construction of detention ponds. They're designed with underground infrastructure to it, emanating from a developed site. The studies that are done to calculate the size, the depth, and the flow of the water when in and out is all determined on a very specific development. So what we could potentially do is work with engineering on this site, the new site, existing building, and then based upon the topography and the size and the location of the detention ponds, because if you have it in a higher location, it's not really going to do any good. It needs to be appropriately sized and located. So, unfortunately, there is discussions going on that are critical to a decision tonight for the ability to allow this business to expand. So if I may propose some language to you, that it could be approval contingent upon working with the engineering department and bringing back a science plan. If, Bob.
Mr. Bob.
Mayor, so the request is for a preliminary site plan. No building permit can be issued based on that site plan. If if the site plan, she just mentioned contingent. So there will be a subdivision plat that has to come before you. And, yes. I'm sorry, she's asking for final subdivision plat, so retract my remarks, I misspoke.
I do have, Mr. Bob.
Yes, sir.
With that being said, with you withdrawing, my thing is when, about the retention pond.
Yes.
And the new buildings going on there. And I know that you saw some of this in your action, being with the county, when South Haven started moving for the retention ponds that were built for the Tanger Outlet Mall. We did not have anything over there except for open land as per se that property is. However, they preliminary the buildings, the sizes, everything. Prior to building anything and completing the road, they were already putting in the retention ponds to sacrifice the need that they were supposed to be. That's what I'm asking for.
Yes.
For us here, they can bring everything to us, put a retention pond in, and then go from there. But that retention pond is definitely a big issue to me concerning flooding in Horn Lake, because when we get that heavy rain, I'm the one that's vacuuming water out of my living room and bedrooms and stuff because it floods. So let's prevent that from businesses also, and that's why I'm real big on that retention pond. And we can build that pond under future development, knowing that we're going to put this here. That stuff does not have to be set there and come in afterwards for a retention pond. It can be built first to meet the needs of everything that plans to go in that subdivision.
I think there's an option available to you, but of course you got an option of just hold it until the detention pond is sized, but another option might be to condition the final plat approval upon the approval of the city engineer and the staging of construction that deals with the drainage first before the building itself proceeds. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think that would be an option if the attorney agrees. If you wanted to get the plat moving, but not allow the construction until you properly size the detention and insure it. Yes.
Also,
yes, sir.
Buildings 3, 5, and 6 looks like on that. The building 2 and 4. Is building 2 and 4 going to be on lot 3, or are they going to still be on 1 and 2?
That hasn't been determined yet. The ability built in with the planned business park zoning allows us to come in on a phase-by-phase basis. So what I completely agree with Bob, a condition of approval, and providing a condition that the detention appropriately sized and located be in place prior to construction for building permit or however you see fit. But if we were to come in with a user that did not follow this master plan, if we came in with a user that, say, for instance, wanted to combine buildings 2 and 4 into one building, we would have to come back to you for a modification to our master development plan. So the lot lines and the flexibility granted to us under the planned business park zoning is a huge benefit because it allows us to tailor this and attract specific users. So in a roundabout way, we're not sure where those subdivision lines may fall yet.
Okay. But right now, you've got lot 1 is already built on.
Yes, sir.
You're planning on just get the permit to build lot 2. And like all these other buildings that look real good on paper that we might get, or you gonna come back and subdivide again and subdivide again. Now, myself, and I'm just speaking for me again. I guess I shouldn't, but like I think building 2, building 4 should be included on. For your lot 1, you're going to subdivide it. You've already got it subdivided, divided out, right? So that's lot 1. It's just you're not going to. I think lot 2 should include coming back a distance to take in 3 and 4 in case you want to build them together. I don't really care, but you should be able to put those in that lots that you're going to build them, because I'm seeing sitting here, there's a possibility that, well, there's a lot of things that go through my head about what could happen. I don't really want to think about that, but I don't like the idea that you're just going to take a little slice of the pie. You got this and you can get another right here, and you're not going. All this other stuff is a questionable. It's a big question. We got a lot of land to sell. They're going to sit there. And you don't want to. We have established that the pond is going to be big enough for all this stuff, or we just doing it as a case by case basis.
I think the pond should be, the pond should be planned for the entire build out of the site.
Okay.
And then constructed enough to handle this building, but with the ability to expand that pond as the additional buildings come online.
Well, let me ask a question. Why would you not, again, if you go little by little, you spend more money? Would it not make sense to go ahead and do it based on the plan completely?
There's probably a potential the north of the road. I would imagine.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. Mike.
Mr. Shields.
Let me interject just a little bit. Vince can correct me if I'm wrong, and I understand what everybody is saying. But to go in there and build it for the whole thing at one time, it will not function properly if you do that. Because you can wind up with stagnant water during any small rain or even heavy rain. Because the other ground is still going to be, saturated grass and ground so, the hinder the runoff and the absorption of water, versus if you had it all paved or built on. So, go in there and build just a huge retention pond, then all you've done is create a big mosquito hole. Because it's never going to get up to the level of water that needs to be to drain out, in time to back. So, what Mr. Bob's saying over here and everybody else is you lay it out, we know how big it's going to be, and then each time you take up and put a hard surface in, then the retention pond would be enlarged to compensate for that area. But you can't just go in there and just create a very big hole and expect it to function properly.
And that's what he was saying when he was talking about it in the thing that as they build a building, before they can get the permit, they got to have that in place. Okay.
It's already laid out. But that's the reason for it. And there again, from an engineering standpoint, I'm just telling you what I've seen operate and function. It's just building one too big just as much as building one too little. It is the same.
Although the full agreement, I did not communicate that totally appropriate way that that is the standard. We're full agreement for that, as well as working on the signage with you as well.
Anybody else have any questions for Ms. Brenda? Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman White.
I recommend, or make a motion to recommend approval of case 1738 for preliminary site plan for 3 lots of Soda Farms Park subdivision with all notations from the planning department. Carry on the property.
Go ahead.
And that includes the remarks tonight from Mr. Bob?
All remarks from the planning department.
Mr. Bob?
Just to make sure, that means sizing the detention pond for the full build out. Making sure the detention pond required for the building is constructed prior to the building itself. In other words, we'll hold the building permit until the detention is in place, or substantially in place. And that a sign package be presented. Do you want that to stay at the planning department, or do you want to see that sign package back to the board?
That'll be Mr. Alderman White's making the motion.
Well, everything's gonna have to be gone through the planning department to bring to us anyway. So this, I mean, I would pass it with all the planning departments. Put your hand on everything.
Yes. Got a motion by Alderman White, second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman White.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Roberts.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Alderman.
You earned that one, didn't you?
Thank you very much.
First, make sure you take care of it now.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. Bob? All right. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
I move we go into executive session for the following: discussion regarding personnel matters and or possible disciplinary action involving employees under 319.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Roberts. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. If y'all will excuse us.
I'd like to see it, please.
You ain't got enough money to take my iron on the break. You can go outside. Those don't plant irons, I got a rolling coal. They laughed at me.
We got 2 now.
I went to work, but first time I seen him. Year. Don't be able to ask you got 1.5 hours, you got about $400. It's cold outside. Let me ask you right quick.
Somebody wait for Nancy.
Yeah. What day is that? Is that the flight time? No, the one I'm talking about, the flight times, that's not the big one.
So you put the No, just.
I'm out of call.
That's what's in
That's the 11th.
It's on the shop.
Thank all you survivors for staying around. Is there a motion to come out of executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith,
I move we come out of executive session.
is there a second?
Second.
Second, motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. Is there any motion resulting from executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Smith,
I move that we suspend employee 319 for 3 days without pay for violation of personnel policy number 701, effective December 6, 2008.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman White. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman White. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Smith. Alderman Jones. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Roberts.
Nay.
Motion carries 5 in favor, 1 opposed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mayor,
So moved.
second.
Which
So
one?
seconded.
Okay, motion by Alderman White, second by Alderman Smith. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Roberts. Alderman Johnson. Alderman Jones. Alderman Smith. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman White.
Motion carries 6 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned.